All right, how's everybody doing today? Hope y'all are doing great. I'm doing pretty well, and like I said in the live, my microphone just magically started working again after this last update. And I mean, I tried everything to get this microphone working. Now I have not checked the phone to see if it's gonna work, but maybe I'll get a chance to check that out this week. Usually when I work 12 hours, so I don't really do much on the computer or anything at all, really. But you never know. If not, next time I'm off, I'm going to check to see if the phone's working again. Because I have a mixer. I know you can't see it from there, but let's see. Can you see where my hand is? Right down over here is the 5-channel mixer, and I'm only using one channel out of it, but that's okay. But it's a 5-channel mixer, and right, yeah, and like I say, the mixer plugged into the computer through a USB. They did an update. I at first thought the girls had messed with my mixer, which they did because some dials were turned, but they didn't do anything to mess it up. And with the update, for whatever reason, my mixer did not work with the computer. The computer wouldn't even recognize it. When I turned it on, it wouldn't ding or anything to let me know. But anyway, that's all. But it's working now. That's the important thing. It's working. So I'll go back and listen to this to edit it before I put it up, and I'll find out I have no audio. But the audio meters are working, so I'm sure it's working. So today, we want to get into some pretty fascinating stuff. There's been a lot of talk lately, and I don't know what all the resurgence is about on the Baltic Sea Anomaly. I know that the Ocean X team was planning on going back, and they've been trying to get funding to go back. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it, whether they're actually going to be going back. It'd be nice if we could get some more images. We're going to look at some images that they 3D scanned, and then of course we're going to look at the model that I made for the animation that you just watched. Hopefully you like that animation. The music is by Aaron Kenny. He produces he's a composer, and now he produces some music exclusively for use on YouTube. If you want to check out some of his music, there'll obviously be a link in the bottom. But all right, let's get into this. So we've got some images we want to look at, and so let me just go over here, flip over to this, and I'm gonna bring up some images. Now I have not figured out what this thing is. Let's start with this one. This is kind of a scan from the side, and I'm gonna bring this over, and this thing shows some detail in this that I wasn't able to see in some of the others, so I do want to definitely, excuse me, there I go, yawning again, recording real late. Well, actually it's not that late, it's only 7:20. But I did stay up all night till 6 a.m. modeling this morning and trying to get everything. Well, I only stayed up to about 2 to model, and then trying to get everything sequenced with the music and everything. Having a lot of fun, and then next thing I know, it was about 5:30 in the morning, and then I said, "Oh, okay, I got to get done." And then everything got rendered, so I quickly put it through the sequencer and sequenced it, and then I added the music and sequenced that in DaVinci, and got that all done. So alright, so there's some features on this image that I want to talk about that were not in the others, and it's pretty grainy, but we can see some stuff that we weren't able to see. First thing I noticed is this right here. This looks like a hole in the structure. And I didn't see this in any of the other images, but it's in this one. And so, what? Eating chip? Alright. And then I could see the height of this piece that's raised up, which I'll show you in other images. I couldn't tell how tall it was, but this gives us a good idea of the height of this. And you can't really see it from here, but this thing is a disc going around. It's hard to tell, but you can kind of see it. It's a disc that goes around through here, and then of course you can see the far side, but the disc comes all the way around. And then these structures seem to be sitting on top of it. But you can see this detail right here, which I actually don't have this in the model, because there's actually another feature that's in here, which is this. You can barely see it on this one, but this round circle right here, we weren't able to see. Alright, so let's bring up another image. But yeah, I just wanted you to see in this one I could actually get an idea of the height of this piece here. Alright? Oh gosh. Oof. Yeah, I'm still tired. Well, that was a long day, but I had fun. Okay. So this one is another sonar image. I think the last one was actually a photograph. This one is a sonar image. And I used a total of about 5 of these images that I could find to get an idea of what this thing looked like. So in this one, we can see this round disc a little better. We can see what I call the cannon over here just a little bit, and I've actually got another image of this that's a little better. And then you can see a few other features like the groove line that goes into this kind of some sort of square shape, but it's not completely square. I got it in there, and I saw that in a better image. But I was trying to use multiple images so we could get a pretty accurate idea of this thing. And where the steps would be is down here. Alright, so I'm going to get into that. But just some interesting features to note in this one is the groove line that's in the body of this thing and not on the stuff that's on top. And I wish we could see back here a little better. But just to see how this thing is kind of sitting in the dirt under the ocean. And like I say, this thing is in the Baltic Sea, and I'm going to read about that before we go into the actual model. And then we have this. Oops, wrong one. Oh no, it's the right one. I forgot I got to bring them over. Okay, so this shows a little more detail. Now in this one we could actually see, I'm dubbing this the cannon. I have no idea what it is, but you can see the square box. Right, there's the square box. And then you can see this cylindrical piece right here that comes out. And it, as you can tell, is aiming towards the front of this thing. Now I don't know if this is a structure or a craft, but I thought it was pretty interesting. And you can see the detail. This groove line, which starts over here, let's see, right here, comes up at an angle, comes across, comes down a little bit, back, and then it goes into this, it's not really square, it's almost, not quite trapezoidal either. What would it be called? A rhombus or something? I don't remember what the shape is called, but anyway, you'll see the shape in a bit. And then that circular piece on the back, and then this stuff, the part of it that's buried into the ground. And then of course, people always liken this to the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars because it kind of looks like it, and it does. And it's pretty cool either way. Whether it's a structure or a craft, I have no idea. Now, I will tell you that the Ocean X team, the one that went to, that actually initially discovered this, I should say, and that went to explore this thing, said it appeared to be made of black basalt. Now I know they took samples from around this area. I don't know if they actually got any samples from the structure itself. So I don't know, but like I say, it was made of the basalt material that they found. I would imagine it'd be a structure. I can't imagine you building a craft out of basalt. I think if you were this advanced, you would probably build a craft out of some other material, either materials that you created, or something like metamaterials or something. I wouldn't imagine you'd use basalt. That would be very heavy for a craft. Now, if weight is not an issue and they have anti-gravity, okay, maybe you say, all right, it's the best material. We're not worried about weight because we have harnessed anti-gravity. And then there's going to be a feature back here we want to look at that seems to stick up from it. You can kind of see it right here, but there's not a lot of detail. So let's go to our next image, and then I'll get into we're going to read a little bit from the wiki. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I just want you to understand. I just want you to understand what this thing is, or at least what we know about it. We don't know what it is. Okay, so this is that feature I was talking about. So it's 5-sided. Almost looks like a I don't know, a home plate for baseball or something. Not quite, but it's almost got that shape. And this stuff is indented in. This groove line is indented in. And to match the shadows and everything, I had to indent it in pretty good. So this groove goes pretty deep, along with these grooves here. Now, a lot of people have speculated that this thing was probably formed during the last Ice Age, and it is a natural formation. I'm just gonna say, yeah. There's too many features on this that are symmetrical. Okay, as Dave Gannett would say from Mars X3D, non-fractal. So I don't see how you can look at this and say, oh, it's a natural feature. Take a look at this round disc area. We get a little bit better image of that here. There's actually a dome right here. Let's zoom into that. That is an actual dome sticking up above this thing. If you just follow the groove lines and look at the symmetry in this thing, I don't see how you can look at this and say it's a natural feature. But there was that argument, and I looked at it and I said, can you like token pass and not hog it for yourself? Because apparently you've been puffing too much on that stuff. So, and this piece right here, which I talked about when I was doing the other video on this, actually slants down. It starts almost just below the height of this piece, slants down to just about the height of this piece, and this one may be as twice as tall as this piece here. And then we have the staircase, the ever popular staircase. A lot of people have talked about this, and that was one of the arguments against this being a natural feature is, well, then why does it look like you have staircases going up to this? Okay, and there now the Ocean X team said there was another staircase. I didn't find it unless they were talking about here, but it's so smoothed out in the image that I don't know where the other staircase is that they were talking about. But I watched their documentary, and I watched almost every video I could find on this thing. All right, so they said there was multiple staircases going up to the different levels, and this is the only one I found, but this is very prominent, and it's definitely a staircase. All right. So we have that. You got this. It's almost hard to see, but it's there. You got this cube that sticks out from this one. I think I modeled that in the model. I hope I didn't forget to do that. I know I did forget to model this piece right here. I was trying to figure this out. I really was. And I didn't know if it was a piece that comes from the top of this and slants down towards the staircase, or this is just dust and silt covering the stairs. And I looked at it and looked at it, and I don't think I ever modeled this in there, but that's okay. We have enough stuff in this that is pretty interesting. And this is a piece I was talking about. You got this cutout right here, this groove. Okay, all of this is sunken in. These walls, like right here, that come around and turn 90 degrees, are sticking up above this a good ways. It's got some height to it. You can see the height of it by the shading and the shadowing. And then you have what looks like this. Honestly, to me, it doesn't look like stone like the rest of this. This right here looks like a metal piece. And if you look real close, you can actually see this cylinder with extruded faces around it. And I actually have this in the model, and I could not, for the life of me, make out what the rest of the stuff was. But some of it actually, you could actually see the shadow underneath this thing, how this piece sticks up, and there's shadowing underneath it. So you know it's got some height to it, and it's probably hollow in the middle, and that's how I modeled it. And but there's actually seems to be some stuff in here. All right. So that's that. Okay, let's bring the wiki page over. Now, some of you, I understand, you don't trust wiki, and you know you got to take wiki with a grain of salt. It's updated by the people, by everyday people, and then they're supposed to go through and review it and see if that information is accurate. Whether they do or don't, I don't know. But your common citizens are updating wiki, so you have to take everything with a grain of salt. But that doesn't mean it's not a worthwhile site to visit. At least for me, you can find out some information, and then you can go and fact check it and see if it's correct. So I'm going to bring this over, and we're going to read a little bit of this, and then we're going to go into our model. All right. So the Baltic Sea Anomaly was a feature that was visible on an indistinct sonar image by Peter Lindberg and Dennis Aberg and their Swedish Ocean X diving team while treasure hunting on the floor of the northern Baltic Sea in the Gulf of Bothnia in June 2011. Now, these guys had just come off the success of finding this shipwreck. It was a shipwreck of wine bottles, just a shipload of wine bottles that were heading, I think, to Russia, if I remember right. And it got sunk back in World War I. I think it was World War I. It might have been World War II. But either way, the entire cargo was lost, but at the bottom of the sea, where the ship rested, most of the cargo was intact. And these guys went and recovered that, and then used the funds from the sales of them antique wine bottles to fund more research on the ocean. And once again, I don't know what the dollar amount was that they fetched. I don't remember. I think they said it in the video. I watched several videos, by the way. And so they were using that to fund more research. These guys are treasure hunters. I mean, what I would give to be able to be a treasure hunter. That would be some cool stuff. The stuff they're doing is probably pretty cool. So these guys are searching for wrecks on the bottom of the ocean, and this just happened to be one of them. And so they set out to the Baltic Sea to look for more shipwrecks, and they wound up. They were running the high resolution, I think, but it was no. They were running the wide path sonar, and I don't know much about sonars, but I remember them saying something about. But anyway, it's a wide ranging sonar, and they wound up coming up with an image like this. I don't know if this is the actual original image, but they wound up seeing this at the bottom of the ocean. And so they were like, holy cow. And so they wound up, I don't think they went to it initially. I think they wound up marking the position and coming back, if I remember right. And so they gathered the equipment they needed, and they got an expedition together, and they went to go hunt for this Baltic Sea Anomaly. And they noticed from the beginning, obviously, it doesn't look like any kind of shipwreck. It doesn't, you can tell by this image. It's not a shipwreck. It's not not anything that should be on the bottom of the ocean, right? So anyway, where was I? Gulf of Bothnia in 2011. Team suggestion their sonar image showed an object with unusual features of seemingly non-natural origin. Well, no kidding. That's the one thing that trips me out, is that people say, oh, this could be a natural feature formed by glaciers and there's I never mentioned that. There's actually, how far does it go back? There's actually drag lines going to this thing where it looks like it hit the bottom of the ocean and skidded along for 200 feet or something. I don't remember. It was a little less than a football field, if I remember right. But anyway, you can look that up. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here it is right here. A consensus of experts and scientists say that the image is most likely shows a natural geologic formation. Okay, hold on. Natural geologic formation. Natural geologic formation. Okay, they really need to share whatever drugs they're on. Even in this image, you have to ask, what part of this was formed naturally? Now, maybe this groove line in here, maybe it's a fracture, but everything else has symmetry to it. Okay. The Swedish-based Ocean X team describe themselves as treasure hunters. Most awesome job in the world. Love to do it if I could. And salvage operators who specialize in underwater searches for sunken, antique, high-end alcoholic beverages, which is the one I mentioned. They found an entire shipwreck of that. And historic artifacts. According to the team, they returned from an expedition in the Baltic Sea between Sweden and Finland with a blurry but interesting sonar image while searching for an old shipwreck in the summer of 2011. They have claimed their image shows a 60 meters. Now here we get the size of the craft, and this is important. So this thing is 200 feet in diameter, right? For you over the pond, 60 meters. Circular object with features resembling ramps, stairways, and other structures not produced by nature. The group revisited the site the following year, intending to get a clearer image, but claimed mysterious electrical interference prevented them, following a story published in the UK tabloid newspaper. Okay, so when they went back to the image, to the object, anytime they got right over this thing, and any electrical equipment that they took down there mysteriously stopped functioning, and the remote controlled mini sub, I'm gonna call it a DSRV because that's what they call it in the Hunt for Red October. But anyway, the DSRV that they were using, when they got close to the object, just all of a sudden cut out and stopped working. Okay, the sonar, when they got over on top, just cut out. They even had a satellite phone that they were using for communication out there on the sea, stopped working. And when they moved, I think it was like 200 meters away from the object, everything started working again. So, while they did get some video of this structure, they had a hard time doing it because every time they got close to it, everything stopped working. Okay, so that's what they were talking about this mysterious electrical interference. All right, and they, by the way, they were meticulous about documenting everything. So from everything I've read, they were meticulous. Everything that failed, every aspect of the quote unquote, well, it wasn't a salvage operation, but they were trying to explore this thing. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right. So samples of the stone that were recovered by Ocean X, and they said they didn't recover any from the object itself, but from the stones, anything that was in the silt around the object, they were actually able to recover some. All right. So they didn't recover any that I know of straight from the object. All right. And most of them came back as being natural stuff like granites, let's see, gneiss and sandstones. Let's see, basalt. That was the other thing I was gonna say. I know that they talked about basalt. All right, so there is basalt that they found. And by the way, the basalt is not should not be indigenous to this area, because we don't know of any active volcanoes in this area. Alright, I'm at 30 minutes. I gotta cut this short. So anyway, you can read the rest of this article on the Baltic Sea, but I did want to point out those facts about it. So let's go into our model. Why do I have two up? I'm going to close one. Okay. So, I'm going to turn off the volumetrics. Alright, and I'm going to turn off the shadow. Where is it? Light scatter plane. Okay, let's turn that off. Okay, this way we can get to our object. So all I did, let me put some, okay, this will be better, was I just modeled something simple for the ocean floor. When I filmed that, this is the actual model I used for filming, but I want to point out some stuff in this, and I'm going to click on this so I can rotate around it. Alright, so this is that staircase we were talking about. This is pretty cool. If you follow the pathways, I don't know where the staircase would lead to. That's the problem. I didn't see any openings. I didn't see anywhere you would go. So if it's a staircase, is it just to walk on top of the structure? I don't know. But you've also got this cannon right here. I have no idea if this is a cannon, an actual cannon, or what this thing is. But I know that this piece is cylindrical. I looked at it in several images, and it goes into a square, well, rectangular cube. So what that thing is, I don't know. But this thing is pretty large. Like I say, 200 feet, I think, is what it was. Okay. This is that piece I was talking about that was at the back of it that's sticking up. Pretty interesting. Now, there was stuff all around here. The only thing I can make out was a cylinder right here. And it's got these extruded edges all the way around it. Alright, and it looks like it was hollow in the middle. So that was an interesting feature. Well, all of it's interesting, but anyway. You have pieces that stick up higher than others, and that's the good thing about looking at this from different angles. Oh, I never went back and fixed this. Okay. So, I don't think I ever went back and fixed this, but this piece should be a little higher than this piece right here, and this should slant down at an angle. I forgot to fix that. That's my fault. Or as my drill sergeant used to say, my mistake, your fault. Now, this piece in here, once again, like all of it, I have no idea what it is, but it was there in the image. It has a cylinder. It has this piece sticking out just off from center of this piece. And then this one that's right beside it that sticks out over the edge. And that is there in the image. You can go back to the image and see that. But, okay. This is a piece I was talking about from that one image. This one right here. Yet I can see what's sticking up above it. You can get a good idea how that sticks up above everything. Alright. Now, like I say, the one thing I did not model was this piece, this bit in here. You can see how all these little pieces come out a little bit farther till you get to here, and maybe it was broken off or something. I have no idea what to make of that. So I don't even know. I mean, I don't really know where to start modeling on that bit right there because I don't know. You can see that this one kind of slants down a little bit, comes across. This one looks like it comes straight across and down. I don't even know what that is. Is it erosion? Is the structure eroded? I did not model this, all right? But I did model that circular piece that's right about in here. And it's hard to see in this image, okay? All right. But I can see that this piece stuck up above the rest, all right? And you can kind of see that in there. Uh-oh. All right, there we go. So that's that right there. Alright. And the dome is right there. You can see that dome. What is above it? What did I miss? Oh, I might have to fix that. It's supposed to be just the dome. I don't know what this is above it. Let's try linked. No. Wow. I have no idea what I did here. But that's okay. Go. What angle can I catch this at? Okay, there we go. I don't know if I can fix this without a good bit of work. Anyway, probably not the time to fix it right now, but okay. So we'll have to definitely go through and fix that. I don't know how that got messed up. Alright, let's undo. I'll fix it later. But, okay, it's not supposed to have the umbrella on the top. I don't know where that came from. But alright, there you go. This is 36 minutes of video is what it is. But this is the Baltic Sea Anomaly. And this thing has intrigued me for several years since I first heard about it. And I don't know what the renewed interest is, but it's cool that people are obviously renewing their interest in it. And a lot of people are getting interested in it in the first place. But I hope you guys have a great day. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you liked that little intro. I worked on that from about 4 in the afternoon to about 6 in the morning before I finally got it done. And it's not perfect, obviously. The worst thing about art, if you can call this art, is an artist never feels they're done with their work. And I could have synced the music just a little better to where the most dramatic parts, the parts are like when the anomaly, when you first start to see it, or when the spotlights first hit it. But it was close enough. And then you always want to sync your music to where the dramatic parts of the music, the most emotional parts, show something significant in the video itself. But I got it close with the timing and everything. So, alright, you guys have a great day. I hope you enjoy this video. There's some more stuff. There's the Fuxian Lake. I hope I pronounced that right. Off China, over in China. And there's the one, what's that one in Japan? There's so much of these structures that I believe were built before the last ice age. And basically, when the ice age ended, these things got flooded. Or maybe during the ice age, they got flooded. And they're gone. But alright. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys are doing well. Just keep a few people in your prayers and thoughts. I definitely am going to. I'm not going to mention names. I don't think they want to be called out for this, but I'm concerned. And I know that, everybody goes through some trying times, but I just want you to know I am thinking about you and I am concerned for you, okay? And actually it's 2 people, but one specifically. Alright, you guys take care. I will see you on the next video.